Hello and welcome to the monthly Q&A. If you'd like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to us.fm/Sharmblade and I will do my best to answer your question as long as it's not too rude. Question number 1. Have you or anybody from your family or friends had the dreaded vid-19? Yes, so it's at a point now where it's circulated through our group of friends who are all in sort of the not London, but the outskirts of London area, where it was pretty bad at one point. My dad recently just got over a cold and he was testing every day because he lost his sense of taste and smell, or was it just one or the other? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he lost both for a while, but the test just kept coming up negative, so he just carried on as normal, but he was quite poorly with that. I haven't had it, Ian hasn't had it, immediate family hasn't had it, so we've been quite fortunate, but I know it's pretty rife at the moment. It's doing the rounds, so there's I think the cases, I shouldn't laugh, it's an incredulous laugh. I feel like the cases right now, they are up in the 100,000s. So make of that what you will. You can only be as safe and responsible as you allow yourself to be. So, we're still masking up, sanitizing. It still drives me nuts when I go into shops and I see some people not wearing masks. I know it is a personal choice, but at the end of the day, it's just showing other people a little bit of mutual respect. And masks was a thing even before this whole pandemic arose. I remember years ago now, I followed this girl called the Haley Baby, and she was going on a trip on a plane. I think she was going to a convention or something, and I believe she was going to be speaking there, or she was going to be doing something, and she had a mask on the plane. She was in her picture, she was one of the only people that had a mask on, and it was a really cute little mask with a anime mouth on it. And I remember thinking back then, do you know what, that's a really good idea, because she's protecting herself so she doesn't get cold or flu. You know what it's like when you go on a plane and the air, everyone's breathing in the same circulating air. And I thought that was such a good idea, because she was just making sure that she was going to be healthy and ready to go to visit this convention. Someone's put here, write a note to yourself. Don't even go there. Don't go there with me. If you could see my notes, I don't need more notes. I've got a book here, which is, I literally just write things down as they come into my head, so they go straight onto paper, so they don't stay up there rattling around. I've got my planner, which helps me stay organised and remember things. I've got another notepad here, which has got some workflow stuff in it, and then behind me, those papers, that's my worksheets for this year. So slowly trying to feel, I don't need more notes. Do you easily forgive those who have hurt you? Does your forgiveness depend on the situation? I very easily forgive and forget and sweep things under the carpet. And I've discovered at this time really in my life that it does kind of get to a point sometimes where you need to start looking after yourself, because there's only so many times you can kind of forgive and forget, specifically, from the same person, before you start to think, actually, you know what, I'm forgiving, but it's becoming harder to forget, and this rug is turning into a bit of a mountain. This carpet is building up trash underneath it. So I am getting to a point now where it's I can forgive, but not always forget. Okay, we've got something in a different language. Let's see, I didn't even have my translate tab open. It says, night of light, take over, with a heart and a bee. Deep. Who do you miss? Oh, I miss so many people. I miss my old school friend Louise a lot. She was one of my best friends growing up, and we just kind of grew apart as the years went on. And I often think about how she's doing. And she was the girl that I've told you a few times about how when I was a little girl, I used to go to the stables and look after the horses. And she was one of the girls that I used to go and look after the horses with. And there was a particular stables that we worked at. Hello, Louise, if you're watching this. There was a particular stable that we worked at, and we were both given a horse to look after and another horse. So we had, Louise had Basil, I had Jess, and we both kind of looked after Oscar, who was crazy. He was crazy. And I miss my nan. She passed away last year, and I feel like there was a lot of things unsaid, and I feel really sad about that. And I wish if I could go back and change things, I would go and see her and talk to her. This is from Andrea. Good morning. Soon will be autumn. Do you like autumn? I love autumn. I think autumn's my favourite season because it starts to rain. You get the autumn. They say April showers, don't they, though? But you get a lot of rain here in the autumn, and the leaves start falling and changing colour, but I don't like it then when it starts tipping over into winter and it gets bitter. What would you say to your young self and why? These are really deep questions. I'd probably say, what you doing out walking the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning? That's so dangerous. Go home. And just to have a bit more about myself. Like when I was up to the age of maybe 28, I feel like I was really, I developed mentally, I'm still developing by the sounds of it, mentally. I feel like I didn't really have much of my own mind, and I was a bit of a sheep, and I was also quite quiet. I didn't really speak up about things that I felt, meant a lot to me. And I wish I could just kind of go back and speak up a bit more, because I didn't really do that. I just kind of followed the crowd, followed the trends, followed what other people thought about things, and I didn't make my own opinions, and I sort of very much sat on the fence with things, and if someone said something that I disagreed with, I've just let it go. I just wish I could go back and be just a bit more sort of outspoken. If you had access to a time machine, where and when would you go? Where would I go? Where would I go? I'd probably go back to the 90s. Why not? And then I'd get my hair done in that, when they had the girls all went with thick, blonde, chunky highlights. I'd do that. And I'd go and jam out in a disco somewhere to Spice Girls. What do you love the most? Please answer. Okay, I shall. What do I love the most? I love the little things that just happen every day that just confirm my little unit, So like everyone's got their own little bubble, and there's little things that they do in that bubble that just makes them feel safe and warm and loved. So for example, something for me would be like, one of my favourite things is being in a sort of a love sandwich between Ian and my dog, so I'm sort of in the middle here, and there's just love all around me. Sun or rain? Rain all day. I love rain. Sun, I can last, people love sun, sea and sand holidays. I can probably stomach the sun and the sand for like 5 minutes, and then I'm like, I have to find shade. I go really, I don't really tan, I just go really red, I get really uncomfortable. But I love rain. I would love to go and stay in like maybe something like a villa that you would stay in Mallorca or, on the Spanish islands. But somewhere that it just rains a lot. I think I'd really enjoy that. And even, we went to Mallorca one year, and we went to our favourite restaurant, which was called Tamarel's, and it's just little seaside restaurant. And it was like a bit of a sort of a very mild monsoon while we were sat there eating our dinner. We were seated outside, and there was, it's quite mountainous, the Spanish islands, and there's a mountain in the distance and cars travelling up it, and there was a storm over the mountain, and we were getting sort of like the tail end of the wind and just bits of rain coming in. And I was absolutely in my element with that. So that is it for this month's Q&A, short and sweet. If you would like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to anchor.fm/Charmolade, and I will do my best to answer your question. Have a wonderful week, everybody, and I will see you very soon for the next Q&A. Bye.